This is the Valley's only primetime news. The TV 26 10 o'clock news with Janet Stoll, John Kessler, Vic Jacobs on sports, and Tom Mall with the weather.
Good evening. I'm John Kessler.
And I'm Janet Stoll. Resignations from as many as 100 nurses at Fresno's Valley Medical Center are looming on the horizon. And that has other hospital workers fearing tonight for their jobs and the patients. Chris Majors reports on what could turn out to be the worst-case scenario.
Officials at Valley Medical Center are bracing for a possible walkout by the hospital's nursing staff later on this week. This depends on what happens after the nurses negotiate with county officials tomorrow night. It will take paying the nurses more and getting more nurses on staff to prevent that walkout.
If this hospital closes down, what happens to the other people that work here? The respiratory therapists, the secretaries and clerks, and occupational therapists.
The nurses have been without a contract since January.
If the negotiations fail tomorrow, mass resignations, we are told, by the nurses will take place shortly after that. And they say they have no problems getting jobs, but where will the patients go?
Was that the other hospitals aren't equipped to take care of them for any long term, and certainly the most acutely ill ones, they're not equipped to take care of them at all. And so we would see more of the acutely ill people dying within the first day to a week.
I would make a plea that the public get behind the bonds. Money or cash money is available to give them the raise they're asking for now.
The nurses are demanding an 8% pay increase. At the Valley Medical Center in Fresno, Chris Majors, 26 News.
Black Monday? Well, today it wasn't quite as dramatic on Wall Street as it was on that fateful day triggering the Great Depression. But the Dow Jones Industrial Average suffered its second largest point loss ever today, dropping nearly 157 points to close at 1793.93. This was the Dow's biggest slide since last Monday's record 508-point crash. Meantime, the Treasury Department reports yields on T-bills are down to their lowest in months. 3-month T-bills are selling for nearly 2 percentage points lower than last week, and 6-month T-bills are down about 1.25 points.
Public interest and consumer groups concerned over the constitutionality of California's mandatory automobile insurance law will have to take their arguments to the state legislature. State Supreme Court today upheld the law and dissolved a ban on its enforcement. The ban had been in place since shortly after the law went into effect. A lawsuit filed by the consumer groups argued that those living in poor, high-risk neighborhoods or with poor driving records would be forced to pay exorbitant rates or go without a license to drive. Under the law, drivers stopped for moving violations must have proof of financial responsibility, or they could be fined up to $240. Residents of apartments at the intersection of Mini Wawa and Barstow and Clovis are none too happy about the city taking away their parking spaces, and they let the city council know it tonight. After listening to the complaints related to left turn pockets installed today at the intersection and the subsequent taking of parking spaces in front of the apartments, the council directed staff to look at the situation again and report back with a recommendation.
Our counter proposal would be merely to reprogram the signal lights into a rotating phase signal, allowing traffic to be only one direction at a time, at least during the peak traffic hours.
Residents would like to keep the parking. They feel it's safer for their children to play on the sidewalk, with the cars acting as a buffer.
Well, the San Joaquin Valley may lead the world right now in food production, but state legislators want to make sure it stays that way. Concerns that the valley could turn into a dust bowl has prompted the lawmakers to pass a bill to study our topsoil to make sure it doesn't blow away.
It may just be dirt, but topsoil in the San Joaquin Valley is some of the richest in the world, providing the basis for a multi-billion-dollar agriculture industry. But state lawmakers are concerned that not enough attention is being paid to our primary farming resource.
Well, we hear a lot about water, but let me tell you, topsoil is a valuable asset, and it's very important that we know where it is, what kind it is, how deep it is, and whether or not it's improving or deteriorating.
Historically, the Midwest, because of the Dust Bowl of the 1930s, was given the lion's share of federal soil conservation efforts. But now Assemblyman Bill Jones and Senator John Garamendi have just passed a state bill which will fund extensive soil surveys.
The state of California has realized that federal priorities are elsewhere and that we need to help out because the resources are just as important to us here in California as they are in the Midwest. And so we're hoping that this program will help.
Wind erosion, rising water tables, and excess salinity are some of the major problems here in the valley. The last mapping survey was done in the 1940s. 40 years later does not provide the information needed to make predictions about soil behavior.
That survey was good for its time, but it was before the days of aerial photographs. It was before the days of some of these tools that we have now.
Soil conservationists say it's important to find out what's happening with the topsoil now in order to better plan conservation techniques for growers and to prevent California from becoming the Dust Bowl of the 1990s. In Tulare County, Rusty Dornan, 26 News.
A selenium contamination problem, possibly more lethal to wildlife than the Kesterson Wildlife Refuge situation has proven to be, is shaping up in the South Valley. Recent analysis of ponds and birds in the Tulare Lake Basin show some selenium levels in livers of shorebirds, nearly double those of similar birds at Kesterson. The Fish and Game Department wants operators of toxic farm wastewater ponds in the basin to begin hazing programs to scare birds away from the area. Such programs have been underway at Kesterson since 1984, where massive bird deaths and deformities have been attributed to toxic levels of the trace mineral in farm drainage water.
A federal medical official says the federal government won't pay the whole bill for countering the spread of AIDS, and the burden will shift to the states. Dr. Donald Francis of the Federal Centers for Disease Control told a state legislative committee today the federal government is turning more and more responsibility for handling the AIDS problem to the states.
Now, unfortunately with AIDS, it was caught right in the middle of this transition, and that the classical federal money, federal policy coming down through states to local health departments for the prevention of disease has changed, and AIDS got that change right in the middle and has made it very difficult.
The committee is trying to determine where to concentrate the state's efforts in battling AIDS. A homosexual student club is meeting once again after a 7-year absence on the Fresno State University campus. Members of the newly formed Gay and Lesbian Student Alliance say that by uniting, they hope to abate some of the homophobia on the FSU campus. They want to educate students and faculty about homosexuality. Well, California comes up dead last among the 50 states in the average class size in public schools. That's the word from the National Education Association, which says California has an average of 23 students per teacher, compared with 17 for the nation. But California ranks near the middle in spending per student at nearly $3,900.
You may be wondering why John and I are wearing red ribbons tonight. Well, this week is Red Ribbon Week, and KMPH TV joins many Californians in the second annual anti-drug and alcohol abuse campaign. First Lady Gloria Duke-Machen kicked off the educational program today in Sacramento. And in Clovis, Allison Fisher visited Clark Intermediate School, where students were busy recruiting others to a drug-free life.
The generation gap was narrowed today as hundreds of school kids and adults came together to kick off the second annual Red Ribbon Week. It's California's anti-drug and alcohol abuse campaign and is organized by Californians for a Drug-Free Youth and the State Alcohol and Drug Program. The message, "Just say no to drugs and it's okay not to drink," is being promoted with music, posters, t-shirts, and buttons. First Lady Gloria Duke-Machen opened today's ceremony at the state capitol.
A drug-free life is the only life. If you have friends who are tempted or already under the influence of drugs, help them to join in your commitment. Standing together, you can say no. You've already proven it today.
And in Clovis, Clark Intermediate School is helping more and more kids to say no to drugs. Hundreds of students have pledged a drug-free lifestyle by signing a banner and wearing red ribbons.
It'll give the kids a chance to say, I really believe in this. I think that we should be a drug-free society. I'm against drugs, and this is my way to show it.
I think it's great. A lot of people probably participate in it with the red ribbons and other things. We're going to show movies in our PE classes and stuff, too.
I really think it's great because it'll help people more, and they like to sign it and everything, to sign the sign.
Anti-drug programs will continue at schools throughout the state until Friday. In Clovis, Allison Fisher, 26 News.
I recognized most of the numbers, but didn't really realize at the time. I checked right away, and my wife said, well, gee whiz, you got $5, you got 3 of them. She says, no, you got 4. I says, gosh, we got them all.
Telesis. It means progress intelligently planned. This is a report of Telesis. You're looking at the 7th largest economic power on Earth, California, a single state whose business output is the equal of entire nations. whose brightest business minds are fired with one precious raw material, information. Information that sparks ideas, creates products, and builds companies. But could a lack of information tear them apart? Oh yes, a glitch here, a snag there, and suddenly our brilliance fades to a dark whimper. The companies of the Pacific Telesis Group are making sure that doesn't happen. We are in business to move information and keep it moving, over telephone lines and cellular systems, through computer networks we design. Information that makes California business people the envy of the business world. The Pacific Telesis Group believes that's progress, intelligently planned.
Mark! You're looking at the California-equipped Dodge Shadow and the Nissan Sentra SE Sport Coupe. See the difference? This Shadow's got a turbo engine the Sentra doesn't even offer, and a 770 protection plan it can't beat, plus AC and over 45 other standard features for how much less comfortably equipped? About $500. The competition pales in comparison. See what I mean? So for great value, it's gotta be a Dodge.
See the visible difference at your Northern California Dodge dealer.
Pizza Hut brings you something you couldn't get in a double pizza deal before. Our famous pan pizza. Announcing Pizza Hut pairs. 2 medium cheese pan pizzas for only $10.99. And just $1.29 per topping covers both pizzas. That's right, a double pizza deal on our famous pan pizza. Pizza Hut pairs. 2 medium cheese pan pizzas for just $10.99. Available for dine-in, takeout, or delivery. It's a great price on a great pan pizza.
The Air Force says the successful launch of a Titan rocket today allows them to resume regular launching of critical spy satellites. The Titan 34D blasted off from Vandenberg Air Force Base this morning, ferrying a secret satellite into orbit. The Air Force calls today's launch a major success after back-to-back failures in 1985 and 86. Another Titan 34D stands on its launch pad at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station in Florida. Its payload and launch time are classified, but with today's success, blastoff is expected soon. Well, the Valley's fog season's just around the corner. Its reduced visibility is a big hindrance to all drivers, but school bus drivers carry the added responsibility for the lives of anywhere from 10 to 50 children. Now the Visalia School District has an added margin of safety. Doppler radar units have been installed in all district buses. The units detect traffic coming from either direction toward the bus.
Our old way was to open the doors, look and listen. Our new system now with the radar, it's a tool for the drivers, but they're able to pick up anything coming at the vehicles from the side up to a quarter of a mile away.
Before, when we didn't have our radars, we used to come to the stop and we took a chance in crossing it. Now, with this radar gizmo we have here, it helps us quite a bit by telling us there's a vehicle coming from either the left or the right side.
Several Valley school districts are beginning to purchase units for safety during foggy days, but Visalia is the only to equip its entire fleet of 65 buses. The $650 units were installed last year. School district officials report no fog-related accidents after doing so.
An 8-year-old Woodlake boy who's been missing for more than 3 weeks is in protective custody tonight following a tip which led police to his whereabouts. Michael Crutchfield was found safe in a Visalia house this afternoon and was later reunited for a short time with his foster parents to help alleviate his confusion. And this evening, his natural mother, Janet Cross, turned herself into Woodlake police on a warrant which charges her with child stealing. Police say Cross is a known drug abuser and that she took Michael from his foster home on October 7th. Well, the birth of a baby can often bring great joy to a couple, but that joy can be shattered with birth defects like Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, or other mental or physical disorders. And as Rusty Dornan reports, a new parenting program in the South Valley is helping moms and dads cope with the reality.
3-year-old Trent Hansen was born with Down syndrome, a genetic condition that results in varying forms of mental retardation. For his mother, Kelly, and for other mothers whose children are born mentally or physically handicapped, facing that reality can be devastating.
The birth of a child with special needs is actually the death of the dream child. Your life is never the same at the moment that that special child is born than it was the day before that child was born.
Often the hardest part is accepting the fact that your child will never be normal.
It was real hard because he was my first one, and I expected so many things for Jamie to do. But once I accepted it, then it became easier.
But after acceptance comes the job of raising a child with very special needs. To help parents deal with the unique joys and problems, there is now a program known as the Parenting Network. Only 6 weeks old, there are already 40 families who offer support and counseling to one another in coping with situations that no one but the parent of a disabled child could comprehend.
You can share so much with your parents and you can share so much with your friends, but they don't have the experience that you have of dealing with a child with a handicap, and they just don't know what it's like.
In addition to parental support, the network also promotes community awareness.
We want to integrate these children into our schools, to mainstream them. None of us are bucking for the fact that our kids are going to be normal, but they deserve a place.
In Visalia, Rusty Dornan, 26 News.
I got no typing. I have no...
I just sold an Isuzu iMark. Wow. To the Queen. It's roomy enough for a king or a queen if that's all you got. There's air conditioning so Her Highness won't sweat, and a stereo to drown out the cries of the peasants. Prices start at £7, 9 ounces, but I traded one to what's-her-name for this hat. Right, that does it! Ta-ta!
Now, factory-to-dealer incentives could mean big savings on all Isuzus.
Look familiar? You bet. I got tired of wasting time and money like that, so I contacted Red Monkey Communications in Fresno and got my Contel Cellular car phone. Contel Cellular keeps you in touch with your business at all times, keeps you in constant communications with your dispatcher, and converts your travel time to productive time. Red Monkey will install, program, and handle all necessary agreements. So call Red Monkey Communications today at 275-1334, your authorized Contel Cellular agent.
This is a McDonald's Quarter Pounder. It costs way over $1. This is Wendy's Quarter Pound Single. It costs under $1 and is made hot off the grill with your favorite fresh toppings. Now, McDonald's probably thinks that we're charging too little, and we think that they're charging too much. You know, this may be one of those rare instances when we're both right.
Wendy's hot and juicy 99-cent single, the best burger for your $1.
Doing the job, Bank of America, making things happen, getting things done.
With all that we have to offer, more branches, more versatile ATMs, quick turnaround time on loans, and checking service so good it's guaranteed, it's no wonder that Bank of America is doing the job for more Californians than any other bank.
Doing the job, Bank of America, doing the job.
Good evening, sports fans. Now, is it me? Is it just me? But is suddenly watching the Los Angeles Rams a very painful experience lately? That's right, the Rams in Cleveland tonight, part of a Minnesota Twin-inspired double dip Monday Night Football. Cleveland Stadium here, home of both the Indians and the Browns. That's special. But not so special is this first half throw by the Rams' Jim Everett. He telegraphs his passes, that guy, right to Felix Wright of the Browns. Cuts in front of Henriella. That's history. That's touchdown Brownies. But I love Wright here getting skin from the fans. Yeah, now, how do the Brown devotees feel about the proceedings? There they go, my favorite camera shot of the night. Okay, get all those fanatics in the picture. There they are, all those Cleveland Wild people. They are in the picture, but almost completely out of the Rams' offensive picture is Eric Give Me Money Dickerson. Used sparingly by John Robinson tonight, Eric showed why he's worth more than $682,000 a year right here. 27 yards of fun for Dickerson, gaping hole there, but that was about it for the putrid Rams. Oh, Browns beat the Ericless Rams 30-17, and hey, bonus game. Forced to Monday due to the Twins' Metrodome miracle of yesterday. Vikings pick up the Twinkie vibes, and they dump Denver 34-27. Vikings win. And my, those mighty Minnesota Twins. A team of destiny reminiscent of the '69 Mets, wasn't it? Anyway, they captured the ultimate crown jewel of the sporting world, and here's what it sounded like at the thrilling Thunderdome.
Where's the champagne at? Open up, baby.
Ah, where's the champagne at? I love it. Anyway, who did Vic predict in this one? I said the Twins in 6, and they win in 7. I finally got one. Anyway, how do you root against those most huggable Twins like Kirby Puck? You just can't root against those guys. Listen, one thing got me in Game 7 yesterday. Everything on the line, and you got umpires who should be working in the PC2A. They're working the ultimate game to decide this whole thing. That's crazy. Case in point, bottom 2. Tim Laudner singles left. Vince Coleman comes up throwing Don Baylor's rumbling slide card. Steve Lake took the tag, applied it. Looks late, but the home plate Dave Phillips called him out in slow-mo. There's no doubt Phillips choked on this call. The throw is there, but Lake lets Baylor slide in, then he tags his stomach. Now, why is flaky card pitcher Joe McGrain so peeved at ump Lee Wire? Well, you'll see it off the Gagne chopper. Beat Jimmy Lindemann at first base. He was a butcher all through the series, wasn't he? Anyway, he hesitates and he's lost. Flips to McGrain, behind McGrain, who converts into a human pretzel, manages to brush the bag before Gagne gets there, but hold on, in slow-mo. I'm telling you, McGrain could walk into any Texas honky-tonk and call that a nasty two-step. Obviously, he beat Gagne to the bag, but first place ump Lee Wire, I think he was watching too many replays of the '85 series, called him safe. And remember this fiasco at first? Tommy Hare of the Cards, picked off by Frank Viola. Here's the rundown. Lombard does it, chases him back. Herbig blocks the base path. Herr breaks through Herbig. Viola tags him too late. Wire says, yeah, you're out of there. I can't believe these guys. Anyway, that's it. Enough with that. Enough with the other crazy calls by the umpire in the World Series. And this just an upset in women's volleyball. Fresno State beats number 10, Long Beach at the North Gym. John and Janet.
Thank you very much, Vic. Some rain in the forecast. Tom's coming up next.
Crazy calls. Just crazy calls. Nuts.
10. You know, I am sick and tired of having to shave down here in the living room while Joni is up there holding the bathroom hostage.
Well, she's a young lady now, dear. It takes her time to put on her face.
Lon Chaney didn't take this long to put on his face.
And at 10:30...
Hi, Sally.
Happy Days at 10 and Laverne and Shirley at 10:30. Weekday mornings on 26 KMPH.
I'll take them. A line of credit from Wells Fargo Bank is like a loan that you can use again and again over the years. I'll take it. And never pay interest till you actually spend the money. I'll take it.
We'll take it.
Wells Fargo's opened more lines of credit for more Californians than any other bank. Take it from the experts. Wells Fargo Bank, still coming through.
Telesis. It means progress intelligently planned. This is a report of Telesis. There's something as vital as soil and water helping to feed our growing population. It's called information. Information about crop, weather, and market conditions that allows California farmers to produce more food than 90% of the world's nations. But what if this flow of information dries up? Would our amazing productivity be threatened? The companies of the Pacific Telesis Group are making sure that doesn't happen. We are in business to move information and keep it moving over telephone lines and cellular systems through computer networks we design. Information that helps feed not just Californians, but the world. The Pacific Telesis Group believes that's progress, intelligently planned.
Reason for the clouds, low pressure. Satellite shot, it's swirling down off Baja, bringing that subtropical moisture up. Our chance of showers actually increases as that low pressure cell slowly starts moving northward. Best chance Wednesday night and Thursday if you like rain. Oh, no, I love it. Some records toppled in the Pacific Northwest. They were dropping like flies. Astoria, Washington reached a high of sizzling 60.